Why Cody Rhodes is relinquishing his Undisputed Championship. The best and worst of WWE SmackDown. Kevin Owens confirms end of a 22-year-old friendship. Rey Mysterio's career almost comes to an end. Bronson Reed fuels his WWE return rumors. The reality of Cory Graves' situation. Massive update on The Rock and Drew McIntyre ahead of the Royal Rumble. Solo Sikoa quits the WWE? Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE SmackDown. The latest SmackDown kicked off with San Diego's favorite wrestler, Rey Mysterio, cutting a promo in the ring. He declared for the Royal Rumble, but was interrupted by Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes and Owens declined to sign an amended contract for their match at the Rumble. In turn, Nick Aldis announced that Shawn Michaels would mediate the contract signing that would now take place at Saturday night's main event. He also said both men would have to relinquish their title belts ahead of the Royal Rumble. Bianca Belair and Naomi beat one of the same teams in the revolving door of challengers in the women's tag division. WWE aired a return vignette for Charlotte Flair. DIY acted like good cop, bad cop with Pretty Deadly. Tommaso Ciampa challenged Pretty Deadly to become men and not the jokes he currently views them as. Here's the best and worst of the latest episode of SmackDown. Number 1. Best. Kevin Owens, troll extraordinaire. Kevin Owens cut Rey Mysterio off to wish Rey well in the Royal Rumble. He also wanted the WWE legend to challenge him at WrestleMania if he won. The luchador declined, but the entire exchange was Owens at his best. It led to a match later on SmackDown. The prizefighter wore 2 shirts on the night, one trolling Rhodes and one showcasing Rey's Hall of Fame status. Both men looked great, and Owens beat Mysterio. The former Universal Champ played his best Stone Cold Steve Austin by helping Rey up only to go for a package piledriver. It was a great callback to Austin's history of doing that and how Owens mentioned he main evented WrestleMania with Austin. Number 2. Best. Motor City Machine Guns vs. Los Garza. If all Angel and Berto had to do was wrestle like they did on SmackDown tonight, they could win Tag Team Gold in 2025. Both teams brought their best, with the Guns wrestling their traditional style with fast-paced and tandem moves. Los Garza was impressive again, as Berto hit high-flying spots while Angel showcased his underrated strength. In the end, it looked like Angel and Berto would get a big win over the former champs. Instead, Pretty Deadly interfered to help Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin win. The whole situation will hopefully lead to shifting dynamics between Pretty Deadly and Legado del Fantasma. Number 3. Best and worst. Piper Niven finally gets a win. To set up Chelsea Green's next challenger, it felt like B-Fab was probably going to beat Piper Niven on SmackDown. Thankfully, Niven picked up what seemed like her first victory in months. B-Fab had a good showing in a triple threat match with Bayley and Candice LeRae a while back, but the other two did most of the heavy lifting in that bout. Against Niven tonight, 90% of her offense was just kicks. Had she defeated Niven in only her second match in months, it would have destroyed the little credibility bookers have left Niven with. Her dedication to the Secret Service Act should hopefully net her additional victories going forward. Number 4. Worst. No Shinsuke Nakamura or Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Unless he quietly shifted to being a part-time star like Roman Reigns, Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't used on another episode of SmackDown. Even with a third hour, it feels like a slam dunk to fit the United States champ into the schedule. After beating LA Knight, Nakamura has rarely appeared. The same goes for Reigns. While it's expected of him since he always disappears for weeks and months at a time, it also pokes holes in his heroic portrayal. If he cared about his family, he would show up to save Jimmy from another attack from Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Neither he nor Paul Heyman appeared on SmackDown. Number 5. Best. Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton in the main event slot. Tiffany Stratton's first promo as the WWE Women's Champion on last week's SmackDown was a big miss. She sounded nervous and mainly claimed she played Nia Jax. Her first match as the champion, however, proved WWE made the right call with the title switch. The center of the universe looked ever the equal to the veteran Bayley. The role model also proved why she's one of the most underrated stars in WWE. Both women busted out submissions when they couldn't end the match. Stratton used an armbar, while Bayley went with a crossface. Showing Roxanne Perez in the crowd may have telegraphed interference to protect Bayley, but the prodigy stayed in her seat. Stratton cleanly defeated the Grand Slam champion. Number 6. Best and worst. Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes talking big. Jimmy Uso talked on the way to the ring before his match with Carmelo Hayes. Hayes did the same and brought up a few good points. He claimed Jimmy was living in Jay's shadow. Jay, in turn, is living in Roman Reigns' shadow. While diehard fans will be mad at his words, his statement still rings true. Simply saying, "No yeet," makes him totally different from his brother. If Jimmy wanted to differentiate himself from both, he wouldn't use the same moves: spear, splash, super kick, Samoan drop. They are signature moves of the Usos and Roman, but adding different moves would truly mark a change for Jimmy. The match ended in a disqualification after Fatu pushed Jimmy off the top. Hayes got hilariously destroyed when thinking he was close to the Bloodline. Number 7. Worst. The worst investigation in history. Jade Cargill was found motionless atop a random car in the parking lot on November 22, 2024. That was almost 2 months ago. Naomi informed Bianca Belair that there hadn't been any developments or news surrounding the attack before their match on SmackDown. Any other investigation without news in nearly 2 months would be shut down or abandoned. The repeated no news just prolongs Cargill's return, while she posts stuff on social media like nothing happened. If that wasn't enough, the champs defeated Jax and LeRae again and have been feuding with them for too long. The match quality was as important because the ending was never in doubt. Number 8. Best. Jacob Fatu speaks when Solo Sikoa declines to do so. WWE promoted Solo Sikoa's return to SmackDown after losing Tribal Combat 2 weeks ago. After Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga cleared the ring of Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes, Solo came out. He grabbed the mic, but said nothing before leaving through the crowd. Fatu looked on with a blank stare, but his mind had to be racing. The Samoan werewolf then picked up the mic and told everyone who thought he was crazy before that he was just getting started now. That brought out LA Knight and Braun Strowman, who stood tall to end the segment. Fans have to be salivating for when Strowman and Fatu eventually lock horns, which was announced for Saturday night's main event. Kevin Owens confirms end of a 22-year-old friendship. As per a WWE star on tonight's episode of SmackDown, his relationship with a fellow wrestler isn't what it used to be. Kevin Owens called Sami Zayn his then-best friend on tonight's SmackDown, making it clear there's a rift between the duo. There was a time not too long ago when Owens and Zayn were the best of friends. The duo also had their differences in the past, but they seem to have worked through them and their friendship only flourished with time. Kevin Owens has been a bad guy on SmackDown for a while now, while Sami Zayn is a babyface on Raw. On SmackDown tonight, Owens made it clear that Sami isn't his best friend anymore. For those unaware, the two superstars first met in December 2002 and had been the best of friends for over 20 years. Back in 2023, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn headlined WrestleMania 39 in quite possibly the biggest moment of the duo's careers. On night 1 of WrestleMania that year, the two friends took on the Usos in an undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. The bout headlined night 1 and ended with Owens and Zayn winning the belts. Owens' demeanor has changed quite a bit over the past few months, and he is a top heel on the blue brand. He will take on Cody Rhodes in a ladder match for the undisputed WWE title at Royal Rumble 2025. Rey Mysterio's career almost comes to an end. Rey Mysterio's career almost ended on WWE SmackDown tonight. Thankfully, he was saved by another star. Rey Mysterio had a big night for himself on SmackDown. Not only did he begin the show with his declaration for the 2025 Royal Rumble, but he was then interrupted by Kevin Owens. This led to a first-time ever match on the show between himself and Owens later in the night, after the star attacked him when he said that Owens was not the real champion, Cody Rhodes was. The match between the two stars was immediately an all-time classic, with both of them giving everything they could to find who the better star was. There was move after move where their skills came into play. However, the match soon turned brutal, and Owens took things too far, hitting Mysterio with moves that were looking to injure him. Mysterio fought back, and it looked like he was going to get the win in the end, but it was not to be. He kicked out of a stunner and reversed a swanton to hit the 619. He went for the splash but got taken down, and Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb for the win. After the match, he went for the package piledriver, but Cody Rhodes came out for the save. Owens was looking to end Mysterio's career with the piledriver, but it would not happen. The commentators pointed out how it might have been over for Rey Mysterio had the piledriver connected. Rhodes and Owens brawled and were separated by the officials. Bronson Reed fuels his WWE return rumors. WWE Raw is currently riding high in its Netflix era, but a dark cloud looms on the horizon. Bronson Reed is still on the shelf, but getting closer to returning to wreak havoc with his tsunami. The star recently went public with a conflicting internal issue that will surely add to his ominous persona. Reed suffered an ankle injury during War Games in November and was announced as being out of action indefinitely. He had taken the side of Solo Sikoa and became a part of his Bloodline at Survivor Series. However, the PLE did not turn out to be what Reed had expected as he injured himself while attempting a tsunami from the top of the cage on Roman Reigns. Since his injury, Reed has remained relevant and kept his name alive while on hiatus, mainly by firing shots and taunts on social media. Reed is known for his dark, cryptic messages to the WWE Universe and the locker room. The 36-year-old took to Instagram and shared a photo of officials ordering him away after one of his recent segments of destruction. Bronson claimed these moments are truly zen for him as they make him whole. He included the hourglass not done emoji to fuel the rumors and speculation. These moments amongst the chaos for me are truly zen. They make me whole. Hourglass not done emoji. Bronson Reed WWE, Bronson Reed wrote. Bronson Reed was gaining momentum in his biggest push yet from World Wrestling Entertainment when he shattered his ankle during War Games. The brutal injury came when Reed performed a dive off the top of the cage. Reed underwent surgery a few weeks after Survivor Series and has been recovering at home ever since. While he's out of action indefinitely, the 36-year-old is preparing for his return. Netflix recently reported that Reed will remain in a cast and avoid any weight-bearing activity for at least 3 more weeks. It was noted that Reed would still have a lengthy recovery ahead of him at that point. Big Bronson is a former NXT North American champion, holding the strap for 41 days in 2021. He also won the 2024 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The reality of Cory Graves' situation. There has been a lot of controversy surrounding Cory Graves and his situation with WWE after the star put out a heated post regarding his position in the company. At the moment, there's a lot of uncertainty about his future, and there's an update as to what's been happening behind the scenes. Graves was commentating with Michael Cole on SmackDown before the new year. With the arrival of 2025 and WWE's debut on Netflix, things changed as Cole shifted to Raw with Pat McAfee, while Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore moved over to SmackDown. This left Cory Graves without a position on the main roster commentary team, and he was sent to NXT with Vic Joseph and Booker T, making it a 3-man commentary booth. Soon after, he put out a heartbreaking tweet about how he'd had to give up his dream of being a wrestler after an injury. Now, after working to be a commentator for so long, he had seemingly been told he was not famous enough. He went on to put out another tweet saying he would reveal all on NXT, but he was then removed from the show. He has since deleted both tweets. In a report by Fightful Select, Cory Graves has seemingly not told people that his situation is a work. Several reports had stated that this had been the case, and that he had been talking about it being a work. This appears not to be true. Instead, those close to him have apparently talked about the situation being quite real. With the story still developing, Graves' future in the company appears to be up in the air at the moment. The coming weeks will reveal more about what's happening with the star. Massive update on The Rock and Drew McIntyre ahead of the Royal Rumble. WWE has a unique pairing in The Rock and Drew McIntyre, despite their very interesting but low-key history. With 2 weeks to go until the Royal Rumble, rumors and speculation continue on potential matches and surprises for the grandest stage of them all. New details on what's happening between Rock and McIntyre have been revealed. The final boss has been somewhat of a mentor to the Scottish psychopath since early in his career. The Rock praised McIntyre in a major way when TMZ asked about wrestling's next big thing in 2019. Rock then revealed Drew's new multi-year contract after WrestleMania 40 via Instagram, including footage of a Claymore sword delivered during McIntyre's business lunch with Nick Khan. The 39-year-old has recalled Rock shocking the Mania locker room by visiting McIntyre, and the sword was gifted after the final boss remembered something he mentioned that night. McIntyre has reiterated how The Rock has always been there for him, and now it appears they are linking up for WrestleMania 41 season. Drew recently shared backstage footage of him and Rock at the Raw Netflix premiere, trading expletives. The clip ended after McIntyre whispered into the ear of The Rock, who promised to take care of it. The Chosen One and the Great One are now working together, according to McIntyre himself. Speaking to Alex McCarthy, the former world champion revealed more about his relationship with the Hollywood star. McIntyre was asked how it was having Rock around WWE as of late, given their relationship. He has always looked out for me since the very beginning of my career. He's always had such positive words. I just told a story about meeting his ex-wife, Danny, on a plane one time, and she told me herself and Rock were big fans of mine and saw big things in the future, which was so cool to hear back then. Then fast forward so many years later, in 2017, I believe, it was when TMZ had asked him who he thought was going to be the next big player. And it wasn't like I was about to win the Rumble. I was still kind of random, a bad guy on the show, and he was able to pick me out and go, Drew McIntyre. He's the one to keep an eye on, McIntyre said. McIntyre also talked about the Raw clip and some of the feedback they received for dropping adult language. The star claimed the Anoa'i family member is working on a favor for him. He always had such positive public comments. When I re-signed, he sent the sword as a little gift. He has always been there for advice and to include me in his live stream after the match. I wasn't exactly expecting it, but I feel very honored that he's willing to shine a kind of light on me. And he swore first, then I saw an opportunity. It's so hard not to swear being Scottish. So I got a little laugh, and I got to ask a little favor, and he's working on that for me, McIntyre said. Did Solo Sikoa quit the WWE? The latest episode of WWE SmackDown witnessed a major development in the Bloodline saga when Solo Sikoa returned. Upon his appearance, the new Bloodline leader grabbed the microphone and left the venue without uttering a word. This sparked curiosity among the WWE universe regarding Solo's status following this week's SmackDown. Many fans are confused about whether Solo Sikoa has quit WWE after his actions. The answer to this question is no. The self-proclaimed tribal chief is still part of the Stamford-based promotion, and what happened on this week's SmackDown is part of the storyline. WWE showcased that Solo was frustrated with the constant jeering from the crowd, leading to his decision to walk out of the venue. Otherwise, he had plans to address his loss. Recent reports also confirmed that Solo Sikoa was originally booked to open the show and address his loss against Roman Reigns. However, it seems that last-minute changes led to this cryptic segment where Sikoa walked out. Soon after, Jacob Fatu addressed those in attendance, asserting that the live crowd's negative reaction was not welcome and that they were only getting started. Solo Sikoa still has a contract with the Stamford-based promotion and isn't going anywhere following this week's SmackDown. It appears that Triple H is adding fresh elements to the Bloodline saga, aiming to keep the storyline interesting, even in the absence of Roman Reigns. Following Solo Sikoa's actions on this week's SmackDown, it's possible that Triple H might put the new Bloodline leader on a short break. This break could allow the company to revamp Solo following his loss and introduce him in a new way. Triple H could even keep Solo off television until the Men's Royal Rumble match in 2025, having Sikoa make his return to the Stamford-based promotion during that match. Additionally, the company could move towards a babyface turn for Solo following his loss. Now that Roman Reigns has the Ulafala around his neck, the former NXT North American champion may feel powerless. As a result, the star could finally acknowledge Roman Reigns as his original tribal chief, planting seeds for his heroic turn. A babyface turn from Sikoa could be an interesting twist to the Bloodline saga and some fresh elements. Why Cody Rhodes is relinquishing his Undisputed Championship. Cody Rhodes is the current undisputed WWE champion and is ready to defend his title against Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble 2025. On this week's show, the American Nightmare was engrossed in a heated confrontation with Nick Aldis, where the national treasure voiced his frustration over the actions of KO and Rhodes during their rivalry. As a result, the SmackDown general manager proclaimed that Cody Rhodes would relinquish his undisputed WWE title at Saturday night's main event. Aldis also confirmed that there will be a contract signing taking place between Rhodes and Owens at SNME, which will be held under the supervision of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. During this segment, both Dusty's son and the prizefighter will give up their titles, which will then be hung above the ring for the ladder match at Royal Rumble 2025. In a ladder match, the titles are hung above the ring, and the winner must retrieve them first to guarantee victory. Kevin Owens has been holding the Winged Eagle Championship since the last Saturday night's main event bout against Cody Rhodes. So now, not only the undisputed WWE title, but the Winged Eagle title will also be taken from the current holders on January 25th, 2025. This indicates that the winner of the Royal Rumble 2025 ladder match will claim both titles. The only reason behind Cody Rhodes relinquishing the undisputed WWE title is to have it suspended above the ring for the upcoming ladder match. It will be intriguing to see how the storyline unfolds at Saturday night's main event, when KO and Rhodes will be involved in the contract signing segment with Shawn Michaels. Cody Rhodes has suffered considerable attacks at the hands of Kevin Owens over the past few months. This raised questions among the fans about his medical condition for the ladder match at Royal Rumble. However, during this week's SmackDown, WWE provided an answer as Rhodes affirmed that he has been medically cleared for the match. This revelation came during a segment with Nick Aldis, where Rhodes confirmed that doctors had given him a clean bill of health and that he was fully cleared. He also asserted that if Aldis didn't believe him, he could check the reports himself. This confirms that there is nothing to stop Cody from competing at the Royal Rumble Premium Live event, and he is all set to take on Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the gold.